Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning into the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I have a question for you today. How would you feel if I told you that you would increase your client bookings and sales by offering less? Now, I'm not talking in the sense of working less, but offering less options or less ways clients can work with you. Now, this strategy might sound counterintuitive, but it's based on the principle that fewer options lead to less confusion for potential clients, which makes it easier for them to choose to work with you. It makes them easier for them to make that decision. Because when you simplify your services to 2 or 3 clear and compelling offers, you remove the decision paralysis that often happens when people are faced with an array of choices. So if you have more than 3 offers or packages or more than 3 services people can buy from you, that could be the reason you're not booking as many clients as you think you should be. And the fact is, you could probably be booking more by offering less. This lesson might challenge previous learning that you've had about sales and marketing, but I'm telling you it works because I have seen the less offers means more clients strategy work its magic when it comes to seeing practice and business owners get more clients booked to work with them, and that's increasing their sales. So I want to share a bit more about this with you today, because if you do have more than 3 offers, first off, I want you to totally understand you're not alone. Many practice and business owners have a lot more than 3. Offering a bunch of different services or packages is something people do because they want to have something for everyone. The thought process is typically that if you have all sorts of options, how can anyone say no because you have something for everyone? But they are saying no. It's like when you're trying to pick a movie or a show on Netflix. There are so many choices, and most of the time, instead of finding a movie or a show to watch, you probably find yourself an hour later still scrolling, no decisions made. And if you're like me, your neck is now sore because you've been standing there close to the TV, trying to read all the little titles, trying to pick the perfect show because you and your partner are going to start watching a whole new series. But in the meantime, you turn around while you're rubbing your neck trying to fix things up there, and your partner's fallen asleep on the couch because they have totally given up on you actually making a decision. All those choices make it too hard to pick just one. And that's what happens when practice and business owners offer too many services. Instead of having a long list of services, the better option is to keep it simple with a few very clear offers or services or packages. That way, clients know exactly what they're getting from you, and they're more likely to say yes to working with you. One of my students in the Thrive Marketing Academy recently had a big aha moment about this very thing. It was kind of the inspiration for this episode, I'll be honest. She realized that having fewer offers does work. And it came after we had had a one-on-one marketing strategy session, because people get some of those in the academy. So we had that. We worked on something to do with her offers, and I had her cut back on what she was doing. And so she got on one of our group coaching calls and she wanted to share some exciting news. And she couldn't hold it back. She was like, I just signed my first ever client into my long-term coaching package, she said. And it worked exactly the way you said it would go. It was just so easy. So what had happened was the client had signed up originally for her 2-week quick coaching package that she offered. And then when they did the follow-up call, which was part of that package, what my client said was, I didn't even have to say anything. She said the lady was like, This is awesome. I love it. I love working with you. How can I do more with you? How do I sign up? And that was it. She didn't even have to sell them into doing more with her. The client wanted that next step in the services she offered because she only had two options. And the client knew that. She had the quick 2-week service, and then she had her 3-month coaching package. 2 offers. That's all that she had. Now, I will say that these 2 options she set up are ones specifically created in a way so that people can get a taste of working with you without committing to a longer term. And then they have a second option of working with you, which is a longer term package. I call this the 1-2 offer setup. And this allows you to have that introductory offer, which is a way for people to work with you. And ideally, it leads to offer number 2, which is the longer term option, higher priced, because of course it's longer. And that's the second service. And I will talk about that in the next episode. I'm going to talk about how you can put these together in that way and do exactly what she had done. Because it's a very specific strategy of having these 2 services and 2 options. People can work with you in a specific way so that one leads to the other. And honestly, when you put them into play, they work in tandem very, very nicely. But the best part about this was that she really liked the most was that she didn't even have to pitch or work hard to sell the client into buying the long-term coaching package. Her client wanted to know right up front, how do I do more with you? Where do I sign up? And those are the kind of sales calls that we all want to have, ones that actually don't feel like a sales call at all. Because she cut back on the options she had for people to work with her and she kept them as simple as possible, that made all the difference. And she went from not having anybody signing up to having somebody just immediately wanting to sign up and do more. Now, the other thing that typically holds people back from making a decision and working with you, it's kind of related to elevator pitches. And we talked about this in episode 109 recently, rambling. When you don't have the clear offers or you have too many offers and there's too many things to talk about, that's when people can start rambling, trying to go on and on about the different services, the same way as you can ramble in your elevator pitch and with as much clarity as possible. So once you have your offers narrowed down, you're probably going to find it's a lot easier to perfect that elevator pitch as well. And if you didn't listen to that episode, we talked about a 5-step formula to help you with your elevator pitch. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. It really comes down to the fact that when you have clarity and a simple way of talking about a couple options that you have for someone to work with you, you're positioning your services and your packages in such a way that people fully see the benefit of working with you. And that consult call, that discovery call, even those sales calls you're having with people turn into a call where they simply say, I'm in. How do I get started? And that's what worked for my client in the Academy program that I mentioned earlier. She was in the same position as many people are when they come and work with me and others that I see online as well. All of the coaching services and the programs that she had listed on her website were a different type of coaching or one-on-one service of some sort. She had some with different names. She had some with different purposes. She had some short-term ones. She had some long-term ones, and nothing was hitting home. And nothing was hitting home with people because it was confusing to figure out the difference. And when we did our marketing assessment session, that's where we looked at her services and her offers and her packages, and we narrowed them down to basically 2 options. And that's what made the difference for her. And it doesn't matter if you're talking to people one-on-one, if you're talking on a call, or if they're reading about your different options and your different offers on your website. When there is too much to choose from, people are going to walk away because they don't know what to do. And it's too overwhelming. There's too much to look at. There's too much on the list. There's too many movie titles scrolling by. Sorry, that was Netflix again. But it becomes too overwhelming for them to make a decision. So they don't. They walk away. So in this case, my Academy member did exactly what we talked about on the call. She cut back her offers, and within the month, she sold her first ever long-term coaching package because it was simple and clear and it helped her client make that decision. And when people feel that good about the decision, they never have that buyer's remorse that a lot of people may think about or have as a feeling once they do sign up. She knew that this person was the one she wanted to work with, and she wanted to do more with her. Now, I will say this advice and strategy for cutting back is mainly for folks who offer their services, their expertise. So your expertise that you sell in the way of counseling or coaching sessions. This is the Marketing Your Private Practice podcast. So I am typically talking to practice owners and service providers, okay? So what you have as a service tends to involve you in some way coaching, counseling, working one-on-one with people, even consulting, sometimes doing a service for them as well. So even for those of you who have a variety of specialized counseling services, sometimes you can have too many options too. And I've seen this happen with dietitians I've worked with. Because not only would some dietitians, so if we talk about my typical dietitian who is in eating disorders or weight inclusive non-diet dietitian who practices intuitive eating with their clients, they will often have the weight inclusive nutrition counseling, but they will also have the eating disorders nutrition counseling. Maybe they work with sports nutrition therapy. They might have group meal planning support services, medical nutrition therapy for people with chronic illness or specific illness like diabetes or GI issues. So even with all of those services and those different specialties within one company, you could still simplify and narrow down a lot of that to two things. You either have an initial one-on-one nutrition counseling session of some sort, or you have a package or series of sessions that may come with some sort of added value when you buy X amount of sessions over X amount of time. So the focus of each one of these will depend upon what the specialty service is, whether it was the sports nutrition, the eating disorders, the weight inclusive, whatever it is. But the reality is every one of them is some type of one-on-one counseling. So if you're talking to a client and you try to list out all the different titles for them, they're going to get confused. Instead, you could just say, well, I offer a one-off nutrition counseling session, or you can buy a package or series. And it's as simple as that. Every one of them are going to do that type of service with you, but they'll have that specific need. So when you think about that, you don't have to necessarily have a name or a title or different titles for all of these different ones. You can just keep it as simple as possible and focus in on the very specific need or problem that particular client is looking for. So if you try to create a name and list out a package for all the services you offer and the specialty focus areas, and you give people a full menu to choose from on a consult, you'll end up spending most of your time on those consults and discovery calls, running through all the packages and all their purposes and all their names. And by the time you finish, the client will be dazed and confused, and they'll have a hard time deciding what path to take. Instead, when you're talking to them, determine their specific problem and let them know. You have two options. You can help them focus on that problem in the one-off session or in the package of services. And that's it. It keeps it as simple as possible. And what you will focus on when you do that is that specific problem they have. But you don't have to give them all the different packages that might fit them in one way or another. That's what cutting back and having fewer or less offers looks like, even if you do have an array of specialties and ways that you work with clients. So when you do this cutting back of offers, especially if you do have a long list of services and specialties, how can you do it in an easy way? How can you take all of those offers? Because at this point, I'm hoping you've understood that if you can stop giving people that laundry list of items and ways they can work with you, and instead you make it a very simple 1, 2, or 3 offers, you'll see that what happens is it's easier for them to understand how you can help them and that they want to work with someone like you because you made it very clear. They see the path for them. They see the transformation that will happen. And that's what they want. They want to get to that end point, and you've made it easy for them to see that you're the person to get them there. That won't happen. You will get that dazed look. You'll get the glaze over in the eyes. You'll get people ghosting you from consults and discovery calls, and even from some initial intro paid services if you continue to offer a huge list, like a Netflix list of things where you're going to keep clicking through and through and through, trying to find the one that's perfect for them. You don't have to have something for everyone. You don't have to have a special name for everything that you offer. And in fact, you can just take all of those things. Typically, you can find a way to cut them down and simplify your offers. And the way that I help people do that is we go through 5 steps. So it's almost like a 5-step checklist on ways that you can simplify those offers. Because the reality is you want to get them cut down so that it is clear for people so you can start booking and signing more clients. So I'm going to go through the 5-step checklist to simplify your offers and book more clients. So get ready to take some notes. I will have these listed on the show notes page. And you can find a link to that under wherever you're listening to this episode, on whatever player that you like to listen on. And we're going to go through quickly these 5 steps to help you cut back on those offers. So the first thing that you do have to do is list out all of your current services and offers. You want to make a list of everything that you have and look at them, write down everything you offer so that you can see the big picture of what you're throwing at your clients right now. And we're ultimately going to try to get that down into 2 or 3 main offers or main services or packages, however you like to do this or call this when you put things together for your clients. We want to cut it down and give you a smaller list of things. Now, when you look at each offer, this is step number 2 here. What you want to do is on your list, you want to list out the service. And then beside it, you want to list out who it's ideal for. So identify that ideal client for that particular service or that offer. And then I also want you to write by it, what is the main problem it solves and the transformation that ideal client experiences. Part of understanding and knowing how to simplify your offers is making sure that you understand what each one is for. So I want you to identify the client, the problem it solves, and the transformation they experience. So you're just going to have that on a list. Then you're going to get into step number 3. So from your list, you now want to narrow down the main services you're going to keep as your primary offers. So we're going to list out what we want to and define those primary offers and define them in such a way that people can understand how they're going to get help from them. So you want to look at the list and you want to choose 2 or 3 services that are the ones that are the most effective for the majority of your clients. So these are typically going to be ones that you've actually sold or ones that people have done. And then what you want to look at is how can you position them in such a way that it showcases each as a service offering or a package, whatever way you're going to do it, but has a clear difference between each of the offers that you're going to have and how they help people in a different way. I'm going to give you an example and I'm going to use me as an example. So I basically have 3 offers. You can do work with me through the Thrive Marketing Academy, which is my year-long group coaching and training program, or you can work with me one-on-one. And I have 2 ways people can work with me one-on-one. And I have my 1 2-step offer in this ways that you can work with me one-on-one. I have a 2-week marketing roadmap where we focus in on something. We work one-on-one together. It takes 2 weeks to do, and you get 1 thing solved. You get 1 problem figured out. We work together, create a strategy for it. I give you action steps, a recording. So we have that 1 2-week time where you can focus in on something that you are having a problem with when it comes to marketing your business, your practice. We'll get you to a place of the action steps and the strategy you want to take to solve that so that you can move on, have that problem answered, solved, so that you're ready to keep on moving. The other way is you can work with me one-on-one for 6 months. So this is my longer term package. And the longer term package is one where we are very custom on what we do. We focus in on your specific goals that you need. And every month we work on a different area to help you get to that end result that you want, whatever it is, because everybody's going to have a different goal. Now, how do I position them distinctly, which is what I'm talking about here? It's very simple. When you work with me one-on-one, I will guide you directly in what you need to do and give you the steps that you need to take for where you are now, the knowledge you have, the ability you have, and what you can do to put that plan in place. If you want to work in the Thrive Marketing Academy with me, It's very different. It's a longer term. There's self-study in there. There's a lot of how-to training. So you're actually going to learn how to do a lot of this. Working with me one-on-one, I don't train you. I don't teach you step by step how to go do the things that we might put in place for you as part of your plan and your strategy. I'll give you feedback on it, but I don't teach you how to do it. And you don't get that step-by-step training that you do in the Academy program. It's also very custom. And that's the difference between the two of them. One of them is really you learning how to do things over time with me there, guiding you, whether it's on the group coaching, the private sessions you have, and you have a year to do that and work on it. Or we have a shorter time period, but we're very laser focused on exactly what you need to do. And I share that all with you in the work we do together. Plus you get me for in between questions between our one-on-one calls every month for the 6 months. So they're two very different services, and there's a different way that people can help. I have identified that clear difference, and I can tell people that. So they typically know, do they want to learn a lot more so they can take that knowledge and apply it on a longer term basis, or do they want to get to an end result faster and very specifically for them because it's all one-on-one versus being in a group program? That's positioning those different offers in a different way. So you want to look at these 2 or 3 main services, offers, packages that you have and make sure people can see the difference. I've had clients, we've done this before, and part of the reason we've done it is they've got short packages and names and long-term ones and short-term ones, and you can't tell the difference between one or the other than the name. And this kind of leads me to number 4. Having a clear name and a description for each offer is key, okay? I'll be honest, my one-on-one is simply described as you can work with me one-on-one for private coaching and strategy. I don't get any more clever with a name on that because it's simple and clear and makes people know and understand what they're going to get with it. Sometimes having all of these names, and this is one of the issues that I typically see, is people will have a list of all these names with them. It's like all those movie titles, and I don't know what the difference is between them, and I can't see a difference. So having a simple and clear name makes it easy so that when you talk to somebody, you're not overwhelming them with details and rambling, trying to describe what that named program will do and the description. Your name, how you describe it, should clearly identify the difference between each of those options you might lay out in front of them. Okay? Number 5 is once you've got this in place and you know what your offers are, get them out there. After you've simplified it and you've cut it down, then you have to start trying it out. So we're in the test and refine stage here. You want to see how people respond. You want to see if it's easier for them to choose. You want to see if more people start signing up. You might need to re-review things and refine things as you go along. You listen to clients and adjust what they're saying. They may not understand, so you might need to be paying attention to what they're saying on those consults after you make the change. If people still need some clarification or if certain services aren't catching on, then be ready to tweak what you're doing and try it again. But when you follow these 5 steps, you'll have a clear and simple menu of services, of offers that makes it a no-brainer for people to understand what they're going to get working with you and how to make that decision to choose working with you, as well as what option or what way they want to work with you. The goal is to have less offers, which will lead to more clients by making it easy for them to say yes and start working with you. Now, I will say, if you're at a place where you already have 3 offers or less, but you're still struggling to convert consults into clients, going through these 5 steps could also help you improve on what you are doing now so that you're really looking at doing step 5 here, refining it and seeing if you can make some more changes that will see a difference in what you have from your already streamlined offers. And that's my lesson for you this week. It's all about having less offers so that you can book more clients. So your action step is to take a good look at your practice or your business and how you currently position your offers. How many are they? Do you have more than 3? Are people not always clear on them? Do they ask lots of questions and they never get back to you about signing up? Do they ghost you after a consult? Did you at any point create even more offers or services and packages to try and have something for everyone? Or do you have a couple offers but nothing's working? in those situations, I want you to run through the 5-step offer checklist and try to make some shifts in your offers, refine them so that you can make it as clear and as simple as possible to have more people saying yes to you. Now, be sure to tune in next week when I share a few more details on that 1-2 offer setup strategy, the one that I talked about that my Thrive Marketing Academy member put into play that saw her book her first ever long-term coaching client just weeks after she put those offers on her website and had a call and booked a client for a short-term service and then booked them into the second one for a longer term. So we're going to talk more about that in the next episode, about how to position your services in the best way possible to use this 1-2 offer setup strategy and to use some value and pricing strategies as well that will help you book more clients by having that setup in place. And that's all I have for you today. This is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off. Thank you for tuning in and listening to my advice to help you market your practice or business. And remember, to thrive in practice or business means having clear, concise offers and ways of presenting your services and packages to clients that is not overwhelming or confusing. When you have fewer offers, that will lead to booking more clients. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.